Why do I find small talk so awkward? Feeling awkward during small talk is incredibly common. It's a natural human response to navigating new social situations. We often overthink minor social deviations, leading to discomfort and anxiety. The key is to practice empathy for yourself and others and remember that most people find social interactions a bit challenging. How can I become more confident in social interactions? Confidence doesn't require perfection. Instead of hiding your flaws, embrace them as conversation starters. Share amusing stories about your mishaps and don't shy away from self-deprecating humor. This shows vulnerability and makes you more relatable. What are some easy conversation starters? Use the HEAF formula: hobbies, entertainment, food, and environment. Asking about these topics is low stress and encourages sharing. Focusing on your shared environment is especially helpful. For example, comment on the weather, a song playing, or something happening around you. How can I make small talk more engaging? Think of conversation like cooking. Add a dash of humor salt, sprinkle in curiosity acid, stir in empathy fat, and ignite passion heat. This creates a dynamic and flavorful interaction. How do I move beyond small talk? Gradually transition to medium talk by introducing slightly more personal topics and opinions. Gauge the other person's interest and reciprocation. Be moderate and avoid overwhelming them with too much too soon. What is medium talk and why is it tricky? Medium talk goes beyond pleasantries but isn't deeply personal. It's the stage where you hint at potential friendship but could also maintain a casual acquaintance. It's tricky because it requires reading social cues and adjusting intimacy levels accordingly. What if I have strong opinions I want to share? Sharing opinions is great for stimulating conversation, but in small talk and medium talk, keep them light and positive. Express your preferences and observations with enthusiasm. You can save more weighty opinions for closer relationships. Can I talk about beliefs in small talk? Approach conversations about beliefs, especially sensitive ones, with respect and consideration. Listen actively, don't feel pressured to defend your stance, and be willing to acknowledge differing viewpoints. You can respectfully share your personal experience without forcing agreement. How can I become better at small talk? The key to becoming better at small talk is understanding that how you say things matters more than what you say. Your attitude and delivery are more important than whether you agree with, understand, or like the person you're talking to. Embrace your flaws, share your unique perspectives, and be flexible enough to talk about anything in the right way. What are the key elements of a successful conversation? Every conversation has 4 key elements: asking, informing, including, and proposing. Asking involves posing low-pressure questions that encourage the other person to elaborate. Informing means sharing interesting things about yourself, your opinions, and your experiences. Including means consciously making others feel welcome and drawing them into the conversation. Finally, proposing involves actively moving the conversation forward, changing topics, or even gracefully ending the interaction. What are the different types of conversations? Conversations generally fall into 3 categories: informational practical, personal emotional, and relational. Informational conversations focus on exchanging factual data for practical purposes. Personal emotional conversations delve into deeper feelings and experiences, aiming to foster connection and empathy. Relational conversations directly address the dynamics of the relationship itself, often to improve communication and understanding. How do I ask good questions in small talk? There are no inherently good or bad questions. It's all about context. Questions serve different functions. Follow-up questions help you understand better. Direct questions gather specific information. Reflective questions demonstrate empathy. Summary questions confirm understanding. Impertinent questions fill space. And control questions can be used to gauge truthfulness. Tailor your questions to the situation and purpose of the conversation. How can I make my small talk more engaging? Use the FUFA acronym to ensure a good conversational flow. Include a mix of feelings, observations, opinions, facts, action statements, autobiographical elements, and events in your contributions. This keeps the conversation dynamic and interesting. Are there any tips for improving my word choice in conversations? Absolutely. Upgrade your language by using vivid descriptions, wordplay, unexpected analogies, and contrasts. This makes your contributions more memorable and engaging. How can I overcome feeling awkward or shy in social situations? Challenge your assumptions about others and be genuinely interested in learning from them. Wait 3 beats after someone finishes speaking before responding, showing that you're truly listening. Aim for a 3. one ratio of questions to statements, letting the other person do most of the talking. How can I become a better storyteller? Remember that every good story has 3 parts: status quo, conflict, and resolution. Establish a baseline, introduce a challenge or disruption, and then share how it was resolved. Keep your stories short and to the point, use vivid details, and practice incorporating an emotional core to keep your audience engaged. Why do my conversations sometimes feel awkward or one-sided? The flow of conversation often depends on the balance between givers and takers. Givers prioritize asking questions and creating opportunities for others to share, while takers tend to dominate the conversation with their own thoughts and experiences. A balanced conversation requires a mix of both, where participants offer and accept conversational affordances or doorknobs cues that invite responses and engagement. If you find your conversations feeling one-sided, consider whether you might be leaning too heavily towards giving or taking, and try to adjust accordingly. Is interrupting always a bad thing? Not necessarily. While power interruptions aim to dominate and can be disrespectful, rapport interruptions actually contribute positively by demonstrating understanding and engagement. Neutral interruptions may occur due to excitement or differing communication styles. Pay attention to context, nonverbal cues, and the overall tone of the interruption to discern its nature. How can I interrupt politely and effectively? Watch for natural pauses, filler words, or shifts in the speaker's breath. Utilize the react-recap technique by interjecting with a reaction, recapping what was said, and posing a relevant question. Small gestures or vocal cues can also signal your intent to speak. The key is to interrupt in a way that feels inviting and encourages further dialogue. What should I do when a conversation goes off track or becomes confusing? First, acknowledge the WTF moment and approach the situation with curiosity rather than fear. Seek to genuinely understand the other person's perspective by asking open-ended questions and actively listening. Repeat this process until you find a piece of shared understanding or agree to revisit the conversation later. Employing process moves, such as observing the dynamic or suggesting a break, can also help shift the conversation in a more productive direction. How can I navigate awkward moments or conversational blunders? Remember that these moments are normal and happen to everyone. Humor, self-deprecation, or simply acknowledging the awkwardness can help diffuse the tension. If the conversation has truly soured, gracefully disengage and move on. Vulnerability and kindness towards yourself and the other person can often smooth over minor embarrassments and create opportunities for deeper connection in the future. What are the different types of empathy, and how do they affect conversations? Cognitive empathy, understanding someone's emotional state through reasoning and perspective taking. Emotional empathy, sharing in and feeling another person's emotions on a personal level. Compassionate empathy, feeling for another person's situation while maintaining the ability to support and help. A lack of empathy or a mismatch in empathy styles can lead to miscommunication and disconnect. Understanding these different types can help you respond appropriately and build stronger rapport. How can I demonstrate empathy more effectively in conversations? Focus on actively communicating understanding and validation to the other person. Avoid platitudes, unsolicited advice, or centering your own experiences. Try the following formula. Reflect their experience by labeling their emotion and linking it to a reason plus expression of feeling plus thoughtful question, suggestion, or offer of help. This structure encompasses all 3 types of empathy and centers the other person's needs. What are some key takeaways for improving my conversational skills? Strive for balance in give and take, utilizing conversational affordances to create engaging dialogue. Interrupt strategically to enhance rapport and demonstrate active listening. Approach communication breakdowns with curiosity and employ process moves to navigate challenging dynamics. Embrace awkward moments with grace and humor, recognizing them as normal occurrences in human interaction. Cultivate empathy by understanding and validating others' feelings, facilitating deeper connection and understanding.